when the clinical trial started, when the opportunity came to us, she was 3 years old and she had just turned 3. And because I could see such a wide gap between herself and her peers, I knew that we needed to take this opportunity because I knew that the gap was just going to continue to widen. And she was already showing signs that if nothing changed, she was not going to be able to be independent. I mean, not even talking about adulthood. We're just talking about elementary school, can't follow directions, can't stay on task, can't advocate for herself with her speech. I never really felt super comfortable with her being away from me because I was afraid she couldn't communicate if she needed something from someone else. So when the opportunity arose, I knew it was going to be really difficult. When you're in a clinical trial with a child, any child, you're going to have difficulty. But when you have a child who is 3 years old, who acts more like they're 2 years old, and you're talking about needles, you're talking about assessments, you're talking about long days with an IV in your arm, that is really difficult. It's difficult for adults to do that, but for a 3-year-old to ask her to do that and not be able to communicate to her why she needed to do that was really, really hard. And as a family, we gave up a lot because it's not just the days in the clinical trial that are hard with the IV in your arm and the blood draws and all the things. It's the days after that, the fallout of that. She's overstimulated. She had blood drawn, so she's a little bit weak. She she wasn't able to go be active in ways that are good for kids her age because she had an IV in her arm and we didn't want it to get pulled out. And so our whole family even has been met with a lot of challenges and a whole lot less margin in our life to say yes to other experiences or other things because we know that her needs are so great in this trial that we kind of have to protect the peace that we can have as a family. And so it's been hard. The choosing to do the trial and if you're looking just at small perspective was really difficult, knowing it was going to be met with a lot of hard things for a 3, 4, 5-year-old. But big picture, it was a no-brainer because if we can start to not see a widening gap, but maybe see a gap that closes in, that's life-changing for her, especially at her young age. We don't know who has had the medicine, but this is a proven medicine by data. And it means a lot. It means that when families find out now from the newborn screen that they have a child with this rare disease, they're no longer told, we're sorry, there's nothing we can do. They're going to be told, hey, there's a treatment available. It's not going to mean that you don't have to follow the diet, and it's not going to mean it's a cure for everything, but it is going to be a remarkable change from what your child could have been without it and what your child can be with it. For people already in our community, I believe that it means that when the gap just gets wider, it means that the gap can come in a little bit. And even for adults, it can mean that ongoing damage to the body is at least being halted. So you're not continually getting worse. You are actively fighting one of the poisons in the body, bringing it down in the blood and the brain, so that it can't continue to hurt your body in ways that it would without the medicine. From the perspective of a parent of a child in this trial, I believe that our perspective matters. What we've seen in our children and the day-to-day change that has been made, you can show that in data, but you can't hear how important that is through data to us. Our voices, I feel like, are really important right now in the fact that we are seeing so much meaningful change in our personal lives through this medicine. And I want anyone who has control over this medicine being approved to understand how meaningful and significant our lives have changed because of this trial. And how devastating it would be if this was taken away from our child now that we have seen change. it would really be a huge blow to our family, our future as a family. Not just the individuals that have the disease, but our entire family unit is affected by this decision.